How many days have you been working from home at this point? You might be wondering, how am I supposed to stay motivated through all these days? At the time that we are recording this video, we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and it's called the coronavirus. And depending on your current situation, many of you are probably working from home. Maybe you're working from home for the first time, alone. Maybe you're working from home with your family, your partner, or even you are a working parent. While each of these situations is really unique and different and challenging all on their own, we're gonna go over some broad guidelines that can really help you stay motivated as you work from home. And we wanna hear from you. How do you stay motivated when you're working from home? Tell us in the comments below. Hi, I'm Lauren McGoodwin, founder and CEO of Career Contessa, the only career site built inclusively for women. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel because we drop videos weekly. Okay, let's get into our 8 tips on how you can stay motivated while working from home. Tip number 1, get dressed for work, or at least half dressed. When you're working from home, especially in the middle of a global pandemic, we're giving you all full permission to embrace what we call the outfit mullet. That's where you dress for a video meeting or like a Zoom call on top, and on the bottom you can be wearing spandex, pajama bottoms, whatever it is. We're giving you full permission to go with that. But in all seriousness, working from home is not an excuse to sit around all day in your pajamas. There is a lot of weight in morning time rituals, like getting dressed, and how they fuel your productivity throughout the day. So our first tip for really helping you stay motivated while you work from home is pretty simple. Get dressed every day. And if it makes you feel more productive to get dressed up in a full outfit, pants, doing your hair, makeup, all of that good stuff, then go for it. And if you're more comfortable in wearing pajamas on the bottom and a nice top on top, that's totally fine too. For us, your comfort is the most important thing. Tip number 2, create a dedicated workspace. This can be a tall order if you are working from a small apartment or even in a small room within your own home. A dedicated workspace serves 2 main purposes. Number 1, it is outfitted with all the things you need. You never have to search high and low for your headphones, notebook, or pen again. And number 2, it's your concentration space. If you can, make sure this dedicated workspace is different from where you sleep, eat, or binge Netflix. That way, when you're in your workspace, you know you're there to work. Number 3, minimize distractions. If you're a mom working from home, we can literally hear you laughing at us right now. Minimizing distractions when everybody is working from home can seem, well, almost impossible, if not extremely challenging. Instead, we want to minimize distractions where we can. This might be establishing set schedules or even maybe even rejiggering your expectations and capitalizing on red zones of productivity. What's a productivity red zone? These are the times when you're most productive due to minimized distractions, sleeping toddlers, help from a partner, or an overall quieter environment. If you're a working parent whose 2-year-old naps at a certain time, use that quiet reprieve for phone calls or dedicated work time. If you work best before the sun comes up, but found it socially unacceptable to arrive at the office that early, then use that time to your advantage. Tip number 4, create your own systems. Once you've gotten more comfortable with understanding what are your optimal working times, maybe you've set up that dedicated workspace and you've got a distraction-free space, it's time to create systems that work for you. This could mean setting up meeting times, communication methods, time tracking, and work documentation. Find times to make work for you. Create a schedule for yourself. Let it be flexible in the first weeks before finding what really works for your needs, your most productive times, your existing meetings, and your desired workflows. We created a few free productivity resources that you can check out if you need some extra help. Those are linked in the description. Tip number 5, lean into your weaknesses and get to know your strengths. In a typical 9 to 5 office setting, it's really common for many of us to come across what we call that 3 o'clock slump. This is because you finished that productive morning, maybe you've held a few meetings and enjoyed a good lunch. This is that time when, again, for many of us, there's a slump in energy and productivity. When working from home, get to know when your slumpiest times are and use them for low energy work, miscellaneous to-dos, or take a much needed break. And once you start to recognize when are you the most productive, when are you the least productive, you can start to make your schedule work around those times. This is one major difference working from home offers from a traditional in-office environment. If you're not on at a certain point of the day, bearing any meetings or conferences, you can break off to recharge without being in the center of an open office. Tip number 6, make time to casually communicate. Even your favorite introverts can find working from home a little bit isolating at times. That's because no Zoom or Google Hangout meeting can actually totally replace that human-to-human connection. So our next tip is to schedule some human-to-human contact. We know this can sound a bit counterintuitive, but it can serve as a really nice placeholder for that missed kitchen conversation with a coworker, or just that simple catch-up that maybe you would get normally when you're walking down a hallway. Make simple 15-minute meetings to catch up with coworkers or your entire team. These meetings don't even need to be about work at all. Consider bringing a few icebreaker questions to the meeting. Tip number 7, create time to actually unplug. When you're working from home, it can be actually really hard to unplug because home becomes work and work becomes home. But we know that having work around you 24/7 is actually not good for really anything, but especially your productivity. Once you've mastered your groove and you've identified those peak productivity times, the next thing you really want to identify is when can you actually log off and put your computer away and really, again, step away from your work. This can mean quite literally unplugging your computer, turning your phone on airplane mode, and setting an away message. Make time to transform your home out of office mode and back into cozy home mode. Maybe that's a cuddle with your dog, or you're gonna check out what's new on Netflix, or really do whatever unwinds you. Tip number 8, create a faux commute. The best part of working from home? No commute. When working from home, you can quite literally roll out of bed and start working right while your coffee is still brewing. What we mean by a faux commute is actually pretty simple. Go for a morning walk or take a few minutes to stretch things out on a yoga mat before you start your workday. End your workday on this note too. You can mark the beginning and the end of your workday with an active ritual that loosens your ligaments, gets your heart rate going, and separates your work life from the rest of your life. The best part about this commute is that it costs nothing, you don't have to sit in any traffic, and it can be as long as you want it to be. So those are our 8 tips for staying motivated while you're working from home. To recap, they are: number 1, get dressed. Number 2, create a dedicated workspace. Number 3, minimize distractions. Number 4, create your own systems. Number 5, lean into your weaknesses and get to know your strengths. Number 6, make time to casually communicate. Number 7, create time to unplug. And number 8, create a faux commute. If you need help creating structure in your work from home day, download our free Uncommon To-Do List templates. They are linked in the description below. Remember, we want to hear from you. How are you staying motivated as you work from home? Tell us in the comments below. Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel because we drop videos weekly.